Hi guys, my name is Irina and I'm 29 and I'm from Ukraine. If you're following the news, you know that Russia invaded Ukraine and actually ruined the life of millions of people. And my life as well changed in one day, actually night when the invasion started. And I decided that on this channel I will just share with you how I'm starting from scratch in another country. And I'm not going to talk about politics or discuss politics, and if I'm briefly doing this, it's just to give you some idea to how this all happened to me and where I am in my life. And also I'm not going to complain because I know that a lot of people have it much worse and I actually not safe yet because the war still continues. But before I'm gonna share my story, I want to let you know that if you want to help Ukraine, if you want to help Ukrainian people, I will leave a link in the description to the video to the official site of Ukraine where you can find the ways how you can help. And it's not just about donations, there are other ways how you can help Ukrainian people or Ukrainian army. Till the last moment I actually didn't believe that something like this could happen, that the full-scale war can happen and the Russia can invade Ukraine. I remember discussing that with my husband a few days before the war started, because the tension between Ukraine and Russia was already there even before the official invasion, and we were discussing what we would do if that started. And I remember him saying that it's not possible. Russia cannot just bomb Ukrainian cities, and if they do something, they will probably do something in the eastern part where they already had their army, but we really didn't think that they will start bombing our cities and that they would start invading the whole country. That's why we just lived our life, and of course we're following the news to be up to date, and we actually planned a short trip to Germany and then also a short trip to Dubai. And we went on the short trip a few days before Russia invaded Ukraine. So we flew to Germany for 5 days, so it was planned short trip, and we had to go back on Saturday, on February 26th. So we just packed some clothes that we need for 5 days, and also just in case took all our papers and our cameras that I'm actually using to record now. And that's basically it. We flew to Germany. And that happened on the 22nd of February, and on the night of 24th of February Russia actually invaded. Of course our flight got cancelled and we couldn't go back home, and we had to decide what we do now, where we stay. We decided to stay in Germany because my husband already had residence here in Germany, and we also have some relatives and friends and acquaintances here around, so we decided to stay here for now. Also, you maybe heard about the refugee syndrome, or however that's called correctly, when you feel actually remorses that you're not in the epicenter of the bad events, so in my case in the epicenter of the war. And I felt like that for some time. We at some point discussed if we should go back to Ukraine. It's quite dangerous and it's scary, to be honest. So we decided for now that we stay in Germany and we just keep working, keep earning money and help Ukraine with donations. So we decided that we will not hold the weapon and fight Russia like this, but we will donate money and help Ukrainian army and help Ukraine to fight. I really feel lucky because it was just a coincidence that our trip to Germany was a few days before Russia invaded. My husband already knew that he needed to go to Germany to update some papers in the beginning of February, but he was just dragging that trip. And initially he wanted to go alone because there was no point for me to go with him. And later we decided, no, we can just also enjoy a few days here, like visit some friends, acquaintances. And that's why we first of all went on this trip together, and also not in the beginning of February, but on the 22nd of February. And I really feel lucky about that. And as said, we took our essential papers like birth certificate, ID, passports and marriage certificate, which is really helpful when I now need to apply for residence permit here and stuff like that, and some clothes and cameras, and that's basically it. We're safe now, but we have to start from scratch. We have to buy everything that we need to live here, because we're not planning to go back to Ukraine in a few weeks or in a month. That's why we have somehow to organize our life here in Germany. I think it's also helpful and kind of lucky that I speak foreign languages, that I speak English and also German, not as fluent as English. And my husband is actually not a Ukrainian. He is born in Austria and he also speaks German, of course, and he speaks English. At home we speak English. You may be wondering, what's about my family? We left Ukraine and we left the family then in Ukraine in danger, but that's not like it. We lived in Ukraine for a few years, but my whole family lives in the Crimea. Russia annexed Crimea already in 2014, and my whole family lives there. And most of them, besides my mother and one of my cousins, who is a teenager, are actually pro-Russians. And it's not just like they're not in danger and they're not at war zone right now, but they actually support Russia and everything that Putin and his army is doing. That also became a personal disaster for me, because when we're having a rough time and when there is war in my country, my family actually doesn't support me, because they support their government and they think that interests of Russia and what they're trying to achieve in Ukraine, achieve in quotes, more important than the well-being of people and actually the well-being of their relative and their close person. It hurts me a lot, but already some time passed since I realized that, they will not support me and that they actually think that what's going on in Ukraine is right and that they're doing the right thing and that they're freeing Ukraine from Nazis and stuff like that, that Russia propaganda fits them. After we decided that we will not go back to Ukraine, we needed a place to stay somewhere. And the acquaintances of one of the family members actually had an empty apartment where we could crash for a few weeks, which we actually did, and then we started looking for an apartment. Apartment search in Germany is a different story, and I will definitely make a separate video about that. As I told you, it took me some time to come to my senses after the war started and after we realized that we cannot go back to Ukraine. And I'm recording that a bit post-factum, so right now we already found the apartment where I am now, but it definitely was an interesting journey. So I'm definitely going to record a video about that. It's also much more different than an apartment search in Ukraine, for example, and that's why I want to cover it in the video. I think for the Ukrainians who had to leave their home and who moved to the western part of Ukraine or to Europe especially, the most important question, because now they're safe, the most important thing now is how I'm going to provide myself, how I'm going to earn money or pay my bills in a foreign country. And here it's again a bit different for us, because I know that it's because of our conscious decision within the last few years, but we are working online, we have a small software business, we are also doing affiliate marketing. That's why when we ended up in Germany, it didn't mean that we cannot earn money right now. We can work from wherever we are, and also we didn't work for almost the whole month, but because we have some passive income streams, we also had enough money to pay our bills and find an apartment, for example. But I think I also will talk about in other videos, because passive income and also online income is one of my favorite topics, and I'm sure it may be useful for somebody who is watching the videos. That's basically it. That's where we are right now. I mean, we are safe and we can work. We are healthy, so that's why we just need to build up our life, build up our daily routine and working routine, and also start a new life in Germany. And that's what I'm going to share with you on the videos on this channel. If that sounds interesting, then hit the subscribe button and also like this video, and I will see you in my next videos. Bye bye.